The restaurant hummed with soft jazz, candlelight flickering against polished silverware. Across from me, Lila swirled her wine, barely touching her filet mignon. The scent of buttered steak filled the air, but I had lost my appetite the moment I saw the distant look in her eyes. She set her glass down and exhaled. "Damien, we need to talk." I already knew. For months I had sensed the shift, the cold kisses, the late nights, the sudden, unexplained shopping sprees. Lila had once been my rock, my greatest supporter. Now, she looked at me like I was an inconvenience. I took a slow sip of water, setting the glass down carefully. "Go ahead." She hesitated, then placed her napkin on the table, smoothing it over her lap. "This isn't working." My fingers tightened around my fork. "Define this." She waved a manicured hand. "Us. This life. Your constant struggling. Your business dreams that never seemed to take off." There it was. I had been working on my tech startup for 3 years. I had poured everything, time, money, energy, into it. Progress had been slow, but I wasn't giving up. Unfortunately, Lila already had. "You used to believe in me," I said, my voice controlled but firm. Her lips pressed together. "I did. But belief doesn't pay bills. Belief doesn't buy the things I deserve." A sharp pang hit my chest. "And what do you deserve, Lila?" She met my gaze, unflinching. "Security. Luxury. A man who can provide." Something about her tone, the absolute finality of it, made my stomach churn. "And you've found one?" Silence. The restaurant faded into background noise as we stared at each other. A silent confession played in her dark eyes, a flicker of hesitation that quickly disappeared beneath a smirk. "Sebastian," she admitted, tilting her head as if daring me to react. I knew that name too well. Sebastian Caldwell, my greatest rival in the tech world. The man who had spent years undercutting my business, poaching my employees, outbidding me on every major contract. And now, apparently, he had taken my wife as well. I inhaled deeply, forcing calm. "How long?" Lila's lips curled. "Does it matter?" Rage burned beneath my skin, but I refused to let her see it. Instead, I leaned back, rubbing my chin. "So, this is why you've been distant? Why you've been spending more time shopping and at yoga classes?" She didn't deny it. "He gives me what you can't," she said smoothly. "He's successful. Established. He's everything you were supposed to be." Each word was a dagger to my pride, yet I kept my composure. "And yet, here you are, telling me this in person. Why?" She exhaled. "I wanted to give you the courtesy of knowing. I didn't want to sneak around anymore." I scoffed. "Courtesy? That's rich, coming from you." Lila merely shrugged, sipping her wine. "You'll be fine, Damien. You're resilient." The arrogance in her voice was unbearable. She truly believed I would crumble without her. That I would beg, plead, break. I straightened, adjusting my suit cuffs. "Then go." Her smirk faltered. "What?" "You've made your choice," I said simply. "Go." She blinked, clearly expecting a different reaction. "You're not even going to fight for me?" I chuckled coldly. "Fight for what? A woman who abandoned me the moment things got hard." Lila scowled. "You're pathetic, Damien." I met her gaze, unshaken. "No, Lila. I'm patient. And that's something you clearly lack." She pushed her chair back, grabbing her designer coat. "I won't regret this," she snapped. I didn't respond. She stormed off, heels clicking against the floor. I watched her leave, exhaling slowly. The weight in my chest was heavy, but beneath it, something else stirred. Determination. Lila thought I would fail. She thought I would crumble without her. She had no idea what was coming. The moment Lila walked out of my life, something inside me snapped, not in despair, but in sheer, relentless determination. I refused to let her betrayal define me. For too long I had been on the brink of success, held back by doubts, setbacks, and perhaps by the wrong person by my side. Now, there was no one left to second-guess me. No one to scoff when another investor rejected my pitch. No one to roll their eyes when I worked late into the night. I went all in. The grind begins. I locked myself in my office, devouring every business book, analyzing every failed attempt. My startup, Novatech, was ahead of its time, a revolutionary AI-driven cybersecurity platform. But without funding, without backing, it had been suffocating under financial strain. I refused to let it die. I restructured the company, cut out dead weight, brought in fresh talent. I pitched like my life depended on it. Every rejection fueled me. Every failure became a lesson. Then, after months of grinding, the breakthrough came. A major corporation, Titan Corp, took interest. Their CEO, William Hartman, saw what no one else had. He didn't just offer an investment, he wanted to partner. A $5 million contract signed overnight. It was the domino effect I needed. Investors who had ignored me before now lined up, eager to get in. A few months later, I had 3 more deals, skyrocketing Novatech's valuation. Lila had left me believing I would fail. Instead, I was becoming one of the most sought-after entrepreneurs in the industry. The transformation. Success came at a price, but I embraced it. My wardrobe changed, custom suits replaced old, worn-out shirts. I upgraded my car, moved into a penthouse overlooking the city skyline. The man Lila had abandoned was gone. I wasn't just surviving, I was thriving. Then, the final moment of validation arrived. One evening, while reviewing expansion plans, I received a call from Titan Corp's board of directors. They weren't just interested in our technology anymore. They wanted to buy Novatech. The offer? $60 million. I sat in my office, the contract in front of me, fingers hovering over the pen. It wasn't just about the money. It was about proving to myself, and to her, that I had always been destined for greatness. I signed. That night, I stood on my penthouse balcony, whiskey in hand, staring at the glittering city below. I had done it, and just when I thought the past was behind me, my phone buzzed with an unexpected message. "Lila, can we talk?" I smirked, exhaling slowly. She had no idea what was coming. I stared at the message on my phone, a slow smirk curling my lips. "Can we talk?" Months ago, those 4 words would have shattered me. Now, they amused me. I didn't reply immediately. Instead, I finished my whiskey, enjoying the burn as it slid down my throat. Lila had thrown me away like an old toy. Now she was crawling back. I wanted to know why. So, I texted back. Me, where and when? Her response was instant. Chez Lumiere. 8 p.m. Of course, she chose the most expensive restaurant in town. Some things never change. The reunion. I arrived at the restaurant precisely on time, stepping out of my sleek black McLaren. Heads turned as I walked in, my tailored Armani suit fitting me like a second skin. The staff recognized me immediately. Things had changed since I was last here with Lila. Now I was the type of man they catered to. I spotted her at a corner table, sipping wine, her eyes flickering with something that almost looked like nervousness. Good. She stood as I approached, her designer dress clinging to her curve. "Damien," she breathed, eyes scanning me. She expected the same man she had left behind. Instead, she found someone unshaken, confident, untouchable. "Lila," I greeted smoothly, pulling out my chair. She bit her lip as if searching for the right words. "You look different." I chuckled. Success does that to a man. Her fingers tightened around her glass. "I heard about Novatech," she said, attempting a casual tone. $60 million, huh? That's incredible." I took a sip of my bourbon, watching her. "Yes. Life has been good." She hesitated, then sighed dramatically. "Damien, I made a mistake." I raised an eyebrow, waiting. She reached across the table, fingers brushing mine. "I never should have left. I thought I needed stability, but I see now that you were always going to be great. I was impatient, and I let go of something real." I nearly laughed. This woman had discarded me without a second thought, and now she sat before me, spinning a fairy tale of regret. I leaned back, swirling my drink. And what happened with Sebastian? Lila's jaw tightened. He's not who I thought he was. Of course, Sebastian had never been about love. He was about power. Lila had been nothing more than a temporary amusement to him. She had traded something real for an illusion, and now she was paying for it. I tilted my head, feigning sympathy. So, he left you? Her face twisted in frustration. It wasn't like that. Things just changed. I smiled. Changed. The same way we did. Lila's expression faltered. I deserve that, she admitted. But Damien, you have to know, I never stopped thinking about you. A blatant lie. She hadn't thought about me when she was in his arms. She hadn't thought about me when she mocked my dreams. But now? Now, she saw the man I had become, and she wanted a piece of it. I set my glass down, meeting her gaze. Let's cut the nonsense, Lila. You regret leaving me because I succeeded without you. Her lips parted, eyes flickering with something close to panic. That's not. I leaned in, voice smooth as silk. Tell me, did you think I'd fail? She swallowed. You did, I answered for her. You bet on Sebastian, believing I was a lost cause. And when that gamble didn't pay off, you came running back, hoping to cash in. Her eyes glistened, but I felt nothing. For months I had imagined this moment, her begging, me rejecting her. But now that it was happening, I realized something. I didn't care anymore. She had no power over me. I stood, adjusting my cufflinks. Enjoy your dinner, Lila. This, I gestured between us, is over. She grabbed my wrist, desperation flickering in her gaze. Damien, please. I love you. I smiled coldly. No, you love what I've become. But you'll never have it. I walked away, leaving her sitting there, shattered. She had thought I would fail. She had never been more wrong. Walking away from Lila that night should have been the end. But something inside me wasn't satisfied. I had everything I ever dreamed of. But deep down, I wanted her to feel the full weight of her betrayal. She had tossed me aside when I was struggling, thinking I was destined to be nothing. Now she would see just how wrong she was, and I knew exactly how to make her regret everything. The perfect setup. A week later, I had my assistant, Claire, do some digging. It didn't take long to find what I needed. Lila was drowning. After Sebastian had discarded her, she had no place to go. She had quit her job, thinking she'd never have to work again. She had burned through her savings, expecting a man to keep her afloat. Now she was desperate, and desperate people make mistakes. I called her. She answered on the second ring. Damien? There it was, the hope in her voice. She thought I had reconsidered, that maybe I still wanted her. I played along. Lila, I've been thinking. Maybe we should talk. Silence, then a shaky exhale. I'd like that, she said softly. The sweetest trap. I invited her to my penthouse. When she arrived, she was dressed to kill. Tight red dress, hair curled, lips painted the same shade as the betrayal she had once kissed me with. You look beautiful, I said, letting her believe she still had a chance. She stepped inside, eyes widening at the luxury surrounding her. Wow, Damien. You really did all this, without me. Without you, I confirmed. She bit her lip. I miss you, she whispered. I smiled, leading her to the leather couch. Do you? She nodded eagerly, resting a hand on my chest. I was stupid, Damien. I didn't see how amazing you were. But now we can start fresh. I let her lean in, let her think she had me wrapped around her finger again. Then, just as her lips hovered near mine, I spoke. Actually, Lila, I have a better idea. She blinked. What? I reached into my pocket, pulling out a sleek black envelope. This is for you. She took it, confused, and slowly slid out the papers inside. As her eyes scanned the document, her face paled. This is a contract? She stammered. I nodded. It's an employment contract. My company needs a new assistant. she gasped, hands trembling. You want me to work for you? I grinned. Why not? You wanted to be part of my success, didn't you? Lila's mouth opened and closed, shock and humiliation washing over her. You think I would work as your assistant? I leaned in, whispering, It's more than you have right now, isn't it? Tears welled in her eyes. You bastard, she spat, crumpling the contract. I laughed, standing. Oh, Lila. You left me for a better man. But now you have nothing, while I have everything. Tell me, was it worth it? She stood abruptly, shaking with rage. You'll regret this. I smirked. No, Lila. You will. She stormed out, heels clicking against the marble floors. As the door slammed shut, I exhaled deeply. This time it was really over. She had thought I would fail, but I had made sure she regretted every second of it.